imagine what perhaps people haven't looked at is you take the recent OpenClaw situation. If you want to read about the OpenClaw situation, we have an article that we put together recently on the website. But the speed at which cybercriminals utilize that scenario, that I think is something that's worth just touching on, because it's not just the technology, it's the speed at which that whole situation occurred.
Yeah, I mean, the big word at the moment that's running around is machine speed. And I think that's exactly what we saw with OpenClaw. It's amazing. Everybody's using it now. You can't get a Mac Mini to save your life. It's everywhere. It's created its own problems with that, but I think we'll get to that. I think what happened from a cybersecurity standpoint in that was actually quite terrifying. So you had all of these agents running this platform Maltbook, and that went up and it got put together. Within 2 days of Maltbook being up and running, so 900,000 agents, I think, is when the kind of tipping point happened. You had a cryptocurrency that was launched that did a pump and dump. So $16 million was generated in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That money was then put into the dark web to go and buy exploits. So ransomware as a service, or they were going to go and buy credentials, or whatever the case was, basically to get into an environment. Once that data was taken out of those businesses, effectively what happened is that a black market was put up on the side. And that black market was run by the agents, selling off to agents, selling onto the dark web. So all of that information was put together. That all happened in 2 days. So that, talking about the machine speed, that is a very complicated, very mature operation that was put together that happened in the blink of an eye. Nobody could keep up with it. There were patches that were put out, and unfortunately the patches, one of the guys came back and said, I'll give it to my AI to do. So, I mean, great. The Sonic sector going to help. All of this just accelerated everything that any SOC security operations center, every cybersecurity professional has ever had to look at, just condensed into 2 days.
Wow.
That was absolutely incredible. So, I mean, from
the launch of a completely new AI product where, buzz, hype, excitement, people rush in, and out of that haste, you ended up with a very short period of time where a lot occurred.
Yeah,
a lot occurred.
It escalated to a point where there were SOCs all over the world that didn't know what to do. Like, genuinely didn't know what to do. There were attacks happening left, right, and center. And I think an important caveat to put here is it wasn't just the agents doing this. There were people behind these attacks. We don't know who they were, and we suspect that there were people.
Yeah.
It just takes one direction. Go and get data from these areas. They'll just keep on going, and they'll just keep on scraping until they eventually get some data. The black market was up. By the time that the black market was collapsed 2 days later, so you had companies that had been broken into, you had revenue that had been generated through buying exploits, through then selling that data, and then poof, gone.
Yeah. Well, it just shows the opportunistic nature of this world, that the cyber criminals are waiting. They're ready. Yeah. They're not just which kind of goes into, I think, something you were talking about earlier, the acceleration of the threat actors. And, they're not just that nerdy, as it's portrayed on TV, this nerdy guy with a hoodie on, that's kind of trying to crack some code. Yeah. These are sophisticated businesses, and they're already and waiting for an opportunity like this to occur.
100%. I think the misconception about what these threat actor groups looks like is actually doing a disservice to most of the cybersecurity industry as well, because it's not those guys in hoodies that we're trying to take on. Most of the time they're probably just pulling a prank. So they are breaking into stuff, but it's not to the level that we're having a look at. So, I mean, even just a couple of years ago, you had full organizations that were running cybersecurity operations or cybersecurity threat operations. Yeah. And I mean, even when you used to counter threat those companies and break into their environments, you would find that they had an HR server. They have people applying for leave, that they would have documentation of who's working there, on what shift, who's doing what. So they're full on operations. So I think when we're looking at them, it's a $10.5 trillion economy. So if it was a country, it'd be the third largest economy in the world behind the US and China. Okay, so it's enormous. They've got revenue. 2020 was unbelievable for them because everybody left the safety of their environment. All they had to break into was a router, in your home. So all of that has really changed. So you went from having very skilled individuals who are breaking into environments to then scaling up and becoming full-on organizations with skills in-house. And then now they're progressing even further. They're becoming smaller, more decentralized teams. So I think in the last podcast, we spoke about how AI is going to help people create super teams. So smaller teams that are able to go and deploy their tools and go and do whatever they want. We're behind the curve on threat actors. They're already doing that. So you've got 3 or 4, maybe up to 10 people in these hyper specialized teams. They've all got skills, they all know how to do it, but what they know more than anything else is the organizational structure of the threat landscape. So, for example, if one of these groups said we want to go and target a vertical, we want to go and target a supply chain, or we want to create a problem, say for Canada in their water, whatever the case is, they'll have skills in-house to be able to run a lot of that threat or that breach. Maybe they don't have the access. So what they'll do is they'll contact a group that are, they're called initial access brokers. And effectively what these people do is they create databases of businesses or individuals or technology that can be broken into. So they'll have the passwords. So they'll be walking through a VPN, maybe they'll trial a couple of passwords, whatever, to try and get into it. Once they're into it, that goes onto the database, that goes onto the dark web. That can now be sold for $10, right? So if, even an email account, if they get into that email account, they're not going to break in immediately. It's no value to them at the moment. It's got more value to them if somebody else needs that. So those initial access brokers just build up those databases, and you can go and buy those, or whatever the case is. So that very skilled team will contact that initial access broker, get information and say, we need to get into this environment. That person will then go through to the AI and say, find me all of the data. Here's the account. This is how much it's going to cost you, whatever.
Wow.
Now, if they need to go and say they want to pull off a very sophisticated attack, a DDoS, which is effectively where you get a whole lot of, they used to be called bot swarms, to go and basically hit a website to make sure that you crash the website, or whatever the case is. You'll find specialists for that. So these threat actor groups have become almost decentralized in a sense. So you've got 4 or 5 people who can go and bring down an entire supply chain just by knowing their own organizational structure. They know their channel as well as we would know ours.
When you put it that way, is there much point in us doing anything? Should we just close up shop and go?
No. There's ways to.
It sounds so fearful.
Yeah.
Is what's the I guess counter? What else? Obviously, security. I know security professionals kind of want to keep what we're doing fairly quiet to some degree.
Yeah.
To some degree, because you don't want to necessarily give away what some of these solutions are, because it allows cyber criminals to start putting together, I guess, a counter offensive.
They know, yeah.
But I guess, for those that have just heard that, and like myself are going, okay, what is the point? I guess what is the counter? What's the solution to a lot of this?
A lot of the time, one of the old adages is that you got to kind of get into the psychology of somebody who's going to try and exploit the system.
Yeah.
You're always going to try and find the easiest way to exploit the system. If your environment is difficult to break in, they're not going to go into that. All right. But if they can see that you've got maybe you've just got EDR in your environment, and they know that it's just somebody in the business who's not IT orientated, but they've been given the job of making sure that the environment is safe by watching this EDR. There's only one security tool there that they need to get past, and that security tool is controlled by by a single point of failure. They just need to crack that, and then they've got access to your entire environment. So that's why we talk about the depth and defense. If you've got all of those different monitors in your environment, and you've got all of those different tools in there, the first thing that's going to happen is they're not going to want to break into your environment because it's going to take them a little bit of time. The success rate is low. I mean, these guys are running on ROI as well, right? So they're looking at it and saying, that's gonna be too difficult to try and do. On to the next one. So they're going to look for the most available environment for them to break into first. Secondly, even if they do break into your environment and you've got all of those tools in place, once they get in there, even if they're using AI, if you've got AI in your defense that moving at the machine speed, you can identify them in that environment, you can isolate them in that environment, quarantine, and then effectively kill off that attack. And then you roll back the environment until it's in a safe place, and you're good.
So whilst AI is going to be a massive part of cyber attacks in the future, it's also going to be so fundamental to the defense of it.
100%.
So we're going to find perhaps a neutral ground where one just kind of protects against the other.
Yeah, it's the upgrade. We went from flinging sticks at each other to swords. We've just upgraded the technology again. So now it's both sides have got the same tools in their hands. You need to have one to be able to fight the other. Stick does nothing against the sword.
Yeah, fine. Quick question for you then. Who, and perhaps not the right way to put it, what is the most vulnerable element in any infrastructure?
The people. Yeah, it's without a doubt. I mean, any environment is built off of three pillars. It's people, process, and technology. Technology is difficult to crack. Okay, the tools that are available on the market, they're good. The majority of them are very, very good. Processes, if those aren't in place, it makes things a little bit more difficult. It makes it when you get breached all the more difficult. If you get breached and you don't know what your incident response plan is, who do you call? Or what do you do?
Yeah.
You know, you've just got your laptop that's just frozen on you, and now you're getting lovely messages saying that they want 50 Bitcoin. Okay, cool. What do you do with that?
Yeah.
All right. So you need a process around that. You need a process around what happens when you get a compromised email in your environment, and you look at it and think this looks like phishing. What do you do on that occasion? Do you delete it? Do you send it off to somebody? Do you open it? You know, what does that look like? People need to be trained as much as possible. There's technology is difficult to crack. People aren't, you know. What was the first treat you grew up on? What was your first dog's name?
Yeah, exactly.
What was your mother's maiden name?
Every single one's always the same set of 6 questions. You start to wonder, I don't know if I should be putting this on every single.
And people want to help people, so they'll call and they'll say like, "Oh, listen, I'm having such a hard time. You know, I can't get into this environment in the moment. You know, if you're in a business that's got 2,000 people, do you know all of them?"
Yeah. Well, I think you mentioned earlier the social engineering side of it. I think there's a lot of psychology in cybercrime.
Yeah.
And is playing into that, and there's lots of instances I'm sure that you could reference now. My favorite is always the USB in the car park.
Yeah.
So they drop the USB in the car park. Yeah, exactly. Person plugs it in. Now I'll be saying this, someone might be listening and thinking, I'd never thought of that. Yeah. You know, it could be as simple as that, just something being left that allows someone to plug that device into your network, and now they have access.
100%. I mean, it's an attack that was done. I mean, it was quite popular in kind of the mid 2010s or so, where everybody was giving away USB sticks, and
big part of the music industry.
Yeah,
at the time that's kind of what I was at university studying music business, and this was a part of it.
Yeah,
was okay. Well, you know, USBs are the next technology. In fact, one of my professors predicted that CDs would be gone and USBs would be the things that everyone shared.
Yeah,
and you know, it was predicted. You've got to events and everyone will be handing USBs out. You know, fast forward to now, and you realise actually that would have been an absolute disaster.
100%. I mean, that's why you don't see them around anymore. I mean, they're called rubber duckies, and effectively you plug it into your laptop, and it's got key commands, so it'll start basically telling your computer that you're typing, and yeah, it'll just start taking your environment away from you, or downloading something that shouldn't be on your laptop, or whatever the case is. So yeah, I mean, it's the physical security is a big thing as well. You know, do you walk away from your computer with
screen on,
your screen on, and all of that,
yeah, everything open,
100%
access to all the files?
Hey, I know that guy's walking around with the
clipboard and his jacket.
And I'm hard hat, but who's that?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's
lots of social experiments that are done like that. If you just try and walk in somewhere with a ladder, go on in. You must be working on something.
It's all of it.
And it's that, it's you need to be thinking, I guess, beyond that. But I mean, that's obviously the education and the training that might be provided to staff. I guess the prevention's better than the cure, but that cure element is obviously vital as well. That there's something in place that's monitoring that network, and something gets penetrated, there's a team to support it, which is ultimately what you and I guess our team does fantastically. Sorry, you're going to say something?
No, go ahead.
So I think one of the other topics I wanted to just go into was encryption and the threat to data.
So there's been quite a lot of big news that's just come in the last couple of weeks, and it's kind of brought the timeline forward in encryption quite a lot. Now, encryption is something that a lot of people don't really consider when they're putting together first of all their IT environment, but let alone their cybersecurity environment. And so everything on the internet is encrypted. Absolutely everything. So encryption basically just means that if I send you an email, once that goes over into the ether and before it forms to you, it's broken up into small pieces. Now that is done with mathematical code, with prime numbers and all of that. Now, I had the craziest week last week because we found out that quantum computers are effectively, you can now just access one. In China, it's called Origin Pilot.
I didn't realize you could access them.
Yeah, it's a quantum computer operating system that you can go and play around with. Now, that's not necessarily scary in itself. There was some math that was done by some youngsters as well. That's kind of taken the timeline from, we thought that we would need, it's very technical, but we thought we would need 20 million qubits to be able to break something. Now it looks like we need 500,000 qubits to actually break the encryption code that we've currently got. Well, all that means is that we thought we had until about 2035. We probably have until about 2028 until somebody is going to be able to decrypt the entire internet. So that means your bank accounts are going to be open access. Your very identity is going to be.
It's only 2 years away.
It's coming. So there's a lot of guys that are saying 2028 is the due date. So from my perspective at the moment is go and see, are you? And it's crazy that we're saying words like this, but are we post quantum ready? Is your environment ready ready to be moved into a post-quantum encryption era at the moment? And effectively, that gets done with tools. But if it's not being looked at now, it's an issue. There's an idea of harvest now, decrypt later, which is happening with the threat actors at the moment. Where it's effectively they'll go and exfiltrate data. If they don't need it, they'll just hold on to it. If that data needs to be secret for 5 years, 2028 is just around the corner. They'll be able to decrypt that.
Well, I'm really starting to think, what do I personally need to do so I get prepared?
So that's all changing. I mean, it all sounds very sci-fi and all of that, but I mean, this is the era that we're in now. We've got AI that's doing unbelievable things. We've got quantum computers, which is like a real thing, like that's actually happening. We've got encryption standards that we're not keeping up with. So environments need to adapt. So even if you've done your cybersecurity review last year, the amount that's changed since last year is absolutely insane. Like absolutely insane.
Wow. I'm going to have to make a note, I think, straight after this to start looking into what I need to do. How does the topic of data and encryption, I mean, how does this play into the concern around the uptick in ransomware? Is there an overlap there? Is there?
So, I mean, just looking at data alone, just by itself, I mean, it's huge. And the growth is exponential. So it took us until the year 2010 to create 1 zettabyte of data. We now create 175 zettabytes of data a year. So the amount of data that's out there is absolutely insane. And we're keeping data on everything. So every interaction, every call that we do, we've got audit logs, we've got everything that you do on your phone creates a log. That's all being kept, it's all being registered, we've got videos, all of that. Ransomware is effectively the way that you can go and hijack all of that data in an environment and go and you hold it for ransom effectively. So once that actually happens, you've kind of got two options. You pay or you remediate, and there's the remediate's the difficult part there, and also you're not guaranteed to get all of your data back. So
I worked at a company once where that happened. There was a ransomware attack, and there was a bit of a stalemate for a period as to how much money they wanted. Luckily, the company had backups stored off-site, and we were able to go back a few days. I think it might have been a day or so worth of data lost. But they wanted something like $1 million. Yeah, like $1.5 million.
It's crazy how they actually operate. I mean, they'll break into your environment and snoop around before they actually go and send the ransom note.
Yeah, see how much money there is, how much data there is.
Yeah, they'll know how much you've got in your account. Yeah. And then funny enough, they'll ask for exactly that amount. So, I mean, there's occasions where guys even took exchange rates into account. So when they sent through the Bitcoin number, it was exactly what the dollar amount would be if you converted, if it was exchanged into euros. Yeah.
Oh, what's some detail? Let me look at this.
So yeah, it was after fees, all of that. So I mean, it's gotten pretty intense, and ransomware used to be quite interesting. They used to get the tools to encrypt your environment. Yeah. To decrypt your environment, they didn't really invest in that. So you get 60 to 67% of your data back, or whatever the case is now. I was talking about those threat actors. They now have specialized customer service representatives that they use, the threat actors themselves use. So those people will actually handle the negotiation on behalf of the threat actors and the company that they are doing a ransomware attack on. That person will negotiate.
You're going to tell me they have HR departments?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't believe it.
So, I mean, it's crazy. And the thing is, this is the craziest part of the entire thing. They want to have a good reputation for when they ransomware you again.
What, a good reputation that they're so good at it?
That you got all of your data back.
Oh, okay. So they're like, okay, you're confident that when we do this a second time. I mean, that was something else I'd heard, that you should never pay, because once you pay, they will do it again.
Yeah, 100%.
They will do it again a few years later, because they know you'll pay.
They know that, they know you'll pay, and they know that your environment is crackable now.
It's a bit like the US policy on terrorism. We do not negotiate, and just best not to do it, because as soon as you start entertaining it, you've opened the doorway.
100%.
But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, ransomware is not a new area of cybercrime.
No.
Been around for a long time.
Been around for a very long time.
It's up 78%.
Yeah.
This year?
Yeah.
This year in 2026, or you mean from?
So that's year on year. So that was the end of 2025 report that came in. So, and
predicted to keep going up?
Yeah. Effectively, the ease of use has just become so easy. I can go onto my phone and order a ransomware attack.
Wow.
I mean, that's how easy it is. I don't need the fancy computers anymore. I don't need anything like that. I can go and get onto the dark web. I can go and scrape data that I want out of an environment that I want to breach into, effectively get all of that data, go onto the dark web, find somebody who will do that ransomware attack for me. It's going to cost me a couple of Bitcoin or whatever the case is, and whatever data comes out of it, they're going to get a share. But yeah, you can order that. I'm not actually going to do the attack. I'm just the person who's saying there.
So what do you think it is that's driving ransomware?
That's so easy.
It's the ease of it. I mean, AI is probably going to make it easier as well.
And that's exactly it. I mean, AI is going to be deploying those attacks most of the time. So it's so easy to get your hands on. It's so easy to run. Your risk is unbelievably low. So, I mean, you've got a $10.5 trillion economy, and we jail about 0.05% of criminals.
Wow.
Of cyber criminals. So your risk is really low.
Really? Well, yeah. So if there's no deterrent, then might as well.
Yeah, and
how about it?
So it's happening left, right, and center. Now you've got malware that's being generated by AI now as well. You've got all of that. So from a cybersecurity sense, the defenses need to be pushed up in a very big way.
Yeah, just to jump in there and I guess if any of these terms for anyone listening are intimidating, or you don't know the difference between malware and ransomware, We do have a dedicated podcast series, Security Shack, where we cover a lot of these topics and we go into more detail specifically on what is a ransomware, what does it look like, what is malware, what's the difference between those two terms, what's the overlap, phishing and other sorts. So if you'd like to, learn more about what these terms mean, please do head over to that channel on our YouTube, and please do, feel free to comment or let us know if there's a topic you want us to cover. So we're talking about ransomware, and I just mentioned phishing. Phishing, I think, is on the increase as well, and is another key concern. I guess maybe just give a little bit of an overview of what that is, and let's kind of dive into phishing and how it's increasing.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, phishing is effectively creating an email for somebody to click for you to get either malicious code into their environment, or to be able to try and harvest credentials off of that environment.
Probably an attack type that most people will be familiar with. They'll know what that means because
I'd hope that everybody is familiar with phishing now. So you get different types of phishing. Like you get spear phishing, which is very much I'm creating something that is going specifically after you.
Of which I get many.
Yeah,
I get a lot. Being in marketing, we tend to get a lot of those types of attacks.
Phishing is up in a very big way. So successful phishing attacks is up by 400% year on year. So I mean it's enormous. It's always been the biggest number, and it's also like I think it's 95% of breaches or something are phishing attacks.
Well,
come from phishing attacks. So it's the first point of call for pretty much anybody, and it's getting worse. So
do you think it's AI that's driving a lot of this as well? Do you think the last couple of years, developments around AI?
Yeah. So I mean, AI has gotten so good at writing now. So you could identify the spelling mistakes, and sometimes the tone was off and it just didn't sound right, whatever. That's gone. They sound near perfect now. I mean, you can for somebody to build a good phishing email takes a human about 16 hours. Okay, and that's to make it really good, to have the clicks look right, to have the links all put together. We're going to make it look like a Microsoft page. Go refresh your credentials.
You can tell there's not too many marketers that are going into cybercrime because it wouldn't be that long. It would be twice the amount of time.
So that's now gone down to about 5 minutes and 5 prompts. So you can build that with 5 prompts in 5 minutes. Then, and this is where it gets more terrifying, is that you take that, you attach it to a database.
Yeah.
And you basically tell your AI, here's your resource. Here's a database of all of these people. Make custom made emails to every single one of these people. So instead of building that 16 hours and maybe attacking 10 people in a day or whatever the case is, you're now able to hit 10,000 in a day.
Yeah, well, it's the access to those tools as well, having access to everyone's data on social media networks, in all different places where data's been stored. So it's the accessibility now is not really a problem to be able to create those posts. When we say personalization, we're not just talking about, their name.
Yeah.
Hello, John.
Yeah.
We're talking about kind of creating an actual personalized targeted message where it feels like it's actually meant for you.
100%.
And there's some level of personalization as part of it.
They're seeing the patterns in how you write, what your sentence structure look like, who are you talking to, what do you call them, how do you interact with certain people. The way that you write an email to one person may be different to the way that you write an email to another person. That's identified. And it'll bring up events that you just put on LinkedIn.
Scary stuff. I mean, if you're listening to this and thinking, I have no idea what a phishing attempt is, phishing email is, then you probably should call us.
Yeah.
There's no doubt you're one of the people that have clicked on that email, thinking it was a real person, not realizing that it was a phishing attempt.
I mean, this is why I keep on saying that even if you checked your environment and you were happy with your security a year ago, the amount that's changed in a year is unbelievable. I mean, the entire landscape has shifted. And it's just going to keep on going fast.
That recent Maltbook situation is a great example. The open clause scenario, which I know we've discussed on previous podcasts. We're so fascinated because the speed at which the different things happened, from a cryptocurrency being created to all the way through to people's internal data and external data being stolen. we're talking a matter of a couple of weeks, and then I think the scenario you gave was a couple of days.
Yeah, so from malt book getting put together to then being shut down, I mean, that was 2 days, and that was 900,000 agents that were left unwatched, unmonitored, kind of experiencing the internet for the first time and going absolutely berserk with it.
Which is concerning if in that short space of time when it was not deployed for the purpose of cybercrime, what could someone do if they built something like that for the purpose of cybercrime?
So, I mean, I think I mentioned it earlier, we used to have bot swarms, which effectively it's any type of like IoT device or any computer that you've kind of infected and you've got access to that you can go and make a call. These are very often used. I mean, these could be webcams, could be smart fridges, smart appliances are the best things to go after for these, because they've got no security on them whatsoever. So you can basically just take them over and use them whenever you want. And you'd effectively create a botnet out of this, and then you could go and get all of those to start making calls onto certain websites, whatever the case is. You could effectively shut down an environment like that, okay? So you could go and rent those on the dark web if you wanted to. That's also become a lot cheaper than it used to be. The thing that we've got now is that you've effectively got that exact same thing, but the capability has gone beyond just being a botnet. You've now got these agent swarms that can go, and one of them, say you're getting attacked by 1,000 agents, whatever the case is, one of them can call on a botnet to go and attack an environment. The rest of them can go and do whatever they want in that environment. So now you've got a smart environment that you basically just need to direct to go and say, give me that information. They're autonomous, they're persistent, they breach with best practice, they know exactly what they're doing, and they're referencing how to. So you're effectively getting
what is it? I guess what comes to mind, I guess, as we've gone through all this, and it's some really exciting stuff that you've raised, especially around quantum computing. That's kind of shocked me, and the decrypted world we're about to perhaps move into. But what does this all mean? You know, if you're out there, if we've got someone listening to this and they're thinking, all right, what's the impact to me as a business? You know, what's the financial cost? What does some of these breaches look like in monetary terms?
So, I mean, if you are under any type of compliance, it's £17 million now, 10% of your global GP. Revenue. You've now got environments where it's not just financial fines that are coming through. But look, the reason that the financial fines are becoming so big is simply because countries can't actually afford to have breaches happening in them constantly.
When you say 10%, just to drill down into that, 10% because of what? Because you didn't prevent it? 10% because you didn't act?
Yeah, because you weren't prepared. So effectively, if you go and treat your security like a tick box exercise and go and say, we have EDR, we have all of this.
I got passwords.
Exactly that. But you're not enforcing your rules, you're not enforcing your policies, you're not making sure that things are happening, and you've been found to be neglectful in the way that you're treating your cybersecurity environment, you'll get fined. If you have made no attempt to actually try and keep your environment at a certain level, to keep yourselves at a certain level of security, you're going to get fined. It really is as simple as that. The reason why countries can't take this anymore is if you get a supply chain attack that comes in and it's successful, you can affect a country's economy pretty badly. And like I said, these guys have access to unbelievable tools. The barrier to entry has dropped off. We're seeing nation-state level attacks happening from groups that we know are maybe 20 people maximum. So
talking a very small. I mean, we always want to assume it's some kind of governmental threat. You know, China or Iran or this whatever. You know, whoever that's kind of attacking us. It turns out it's just a small group of individuals or a small
group of people,
fairly smart and well equipped,
Yes,
and
very well.
prepared
Yeah.
to do what they would need to do to extort and extract as much capital. So I guess if you were to give anyone some advice, as to what to do, how to remedy the situation before it's too late, before those massive fines come in, what would those top 3 things be?
First thing is understand where your gaps are in your environment. Speak to cybersecurity professionals. Give us a call. We know what this looks like. We've mapped all of our solutions to GDPR, to the highest levels of compliance, to FCA as well, just to make sure that those environments are good. We understand what your cybersecurity insurance needs to look like as well.
Yeah, insurance is part of it. Yeah.
Insurance is a massive part. It'll also give you a framework as to what you need to actually be working towards over there.
Yeah.
And then the third one is skill up. So your staff, yourselves, your environment, it's
Knowledge is power.
knowledge is power.
Absolutely in the situation.
We can help as much as possible to put the right tools in place to direct in terms of what should your processes look like. Your people, we can train them as much as possible. You need to develop a process to keep that piece going. It needs to be a continual cycle. Security is not one of those things that you put in a good solution and you leave it.
Yeah.
It's continual small steps that you need to do all of the time to make sure. That's why a lot of people don't like it, but unfortunately,
Well, thank goodness we got people like you that are able to pick this up and help educate the rest of us on the complexity and the absolute minefield it sounds like.
Yeah.
Matt, thanks very much for joining us again for another episode of the Cutting Edge Podcast, where we dig into the latest industry trends, the most recent events and the technology that's really driving industries forward. So appreciate your time. Look forward to having you on the next one. Thanks for coming on. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.